Pew, 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 pew.
Hey guys!
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what this is? It's after 9. You know who I am. I'm your boy. It's Changa. You know where you can find me. On Instagram. It's _BOD_FIT. That's Bofit. And I'm here with my beautiful co-star.
Chandani Kumari Hamira Mundia Salaga Hangalapola. You can find me at C_10pennies. C_TENPENNIES.
And you know 10 pennies?
Makes a dime.
You already know, man.
10 piece.
Hey, we have a special guest, man. I mean, this guy's amazing. And you know, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna give you the platform, bro. Just kind of introduce yourself for us.
So my name is Daryl Brown. I go by DB with the Vision. You can find me on Instagram at DB_God_the_Vision. Just a pleasure to be here, bro. I'm humble.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that. That handshake is strong, right? We know we have something that we always do. It's called the 5 finger questions of death.
Okay.
We definitely want to get to know you a little bit better. We want our audience to get to know you a little bit better as well.
Okay.
The first question, we just kind of want to know who you are, where you're from, you know what I'm saying, and know how old you are.
Okay, so like I said before, Daryl Brown. I go by DB from Montgomery Village, born in Connecticut, Hartford. Just a mentor, activist. I just like to just make a difference and help people out. That's what I do.
Yeah, for sure. Second question is, what is one habit about yourself that nobody knows about that you would like to change?
I sleep eat.
You sleep eat.
I sleep eat.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I haven't heard that one before.
I sleep eat. So like, sometimes I know I'm doing it. Sometimes I don't. I wake up with food next to me.
So you be in the bed, it's like,
yeah.
just
Like one time I almost killed
flip.
myself one night because I was sleep eating and
Wow.
I had food in my mouth. And I choked on it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I have to change that. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Something has to
Okay.
change.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got like food on your pillow too?
Wow.
Man, crumbs in the bed, man. It's not good. Yeah, she know about the crumbs in the bed. That was personal right there.
And
You felt that one.
oh wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. That's crazy, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And my last question is, you know, what is one of the nastiest habits that you have?
Ooh.
And the secret, this is the first time you're talking about it on camera, so nobody knows.
So we're gonna start off with my bad things.
Yeah.
I drool. Like I drool so much, like I have to flip the pillow. Like it's very nasty. It's very nasty. You know?
5 finger questions of death,
Like
bro.
after I'm done, I throw it on the floor.
He was starting out with the bad because
Gotta get the bad out the
there's
way.
a
Get
lot
out
of
the way.
good coming.
There's a lot of great.
So we gotta get out the bad. I'm gonna pass it over to Shandi, see what she gotta say. She's super interesting, so I never know what's gonna come out of her mouth.
You know, we got good days, we got better days. So I would like to ask you, the world wants to know, okay? What is the one thing, all right, that your significant other has to have? You can't pursue this relationship, you cannot pursue this person unless they have this quality. What is that quality?
Can I pick 2? Please? I'm gonna pick the most important thing: independence. I think, and what I mean by independence is not just like a financial thing, just a mental thing. Understanding that you are one before you can be 2.
Wow, that's good.
So independence is 1, and then ambition. If you got it. I'm very ambitious. I'm very like my work ethic. My work ethic is very serious. So you know, you got to be able to.
You gotta be able to match.
You gotta be able to match. And it doesn't have to be a match, but you have to have something.
Yeah.
I don't expect nobody to be as hungry as I am.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But you gotta have your own fire, you know.
Yeah,
Even if it's not something that we share, but if it's something that makes you happy, then
She understands.
Yeah,
So
we can work on it.
Those
Yeah,
two,
for sure.
really independence, but you know, ambition as well. That's important.
Big thing, man.
Last question.
Okay. Last question. All right. So let's get a little spicy with this, guys. Okay. What is the nastiest, freakiest thing you've ever done? Whether it's sucking toes, licking an elbow, something like that.
Look at the elbow.
Nastiest. Alright, I'm only gonna say this is nasty because I actually tasted this.
Oh.
But tongue in the ear, so like tasting earwax.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I get, you know.
That's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
It's kind of nasty.
You know, I'm gonna keep it that far. That's
Okay.
as low as I'm
All right.
on here.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird, but I'm not. We not touching.
You know, nobody's ever like bit on your ear, licked your ear, nothing like that.
I mean, the tongue ain't going in there.
all right, but you know what happens. It go around. It's like, oh no, he don't eat the booty, but he licked around the booty. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it just slipped in. Like,
Oh man.
No, I mean, I think that's more intentional. But I mean, was the ear small?
it fit. It wasn't a big ear, but I mean.
All right.
Alright, man. You guys are crazy.
Oh my
You guys are
gosh.
crazy. That's definitely fun. And like I said before, I've said it on the show
in the ear?
before. No, please.
Nah, you want your butt ate.
Hey. Hey.
Can we insert crickets right here?
This is how we want it. This is how we want the show to be. We want it to be fun, entertaining. We also want it to be very educational. We want people to understand that this is a platform for you, right? And we have a lot of stuff going on in our communities right now. And a lot of great things, and a lot of things that we can work on, and a lot of things that we can come together and collab, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to create, and that's what we're trying to create, to be honest with you. And just from our backgrounds and where we come from, you know, it's you have to have that work ethics, and you have to be able to help as many people as you can. If you don't, then you're never going to receive anything, right?
Yeah,
So that's what we're here for, and you know, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate y'all too.
We're gonna dive a little bit into what we really want to talk about, and I know you have a lot about, you know, you've been through this before, I've been through it. It's just about fear, you know. We want to talk about fear a little bit, as far as like any endeavors that anybody puts their mind to. And you know, you know, people don't know this, and some people do know. You are the CEO of your own podcast, right? Of your own company, and you know, it took you some stepping stones to get there. We just want to understand, you know, how you were able to break through and get where you are now.
So fear dealing with starting my podcast alone, just putting it out there, because you never know what people's reactions are gonna be, and it might stink, you know, and you gotta come to realization, hey, this might not be what I think it's gonna be, but you have to have that. You can't let fear stop you from putting it out. But you know, that was one of the things fear like kind of got in the way of to begin with, because I've been wanting to start my podcast. Just so having my boy had equipment, my other boy had the basement. I just had the vision, you know, and that's how it started. And even with fear on that, man, like just the what is it, the 5 finger, what is it called?
5 finger questions.
The 5 finger, that's fearful. Like you have to be open and real, like you know what I'm saying. These are not just questions that you just talk about on a regular day. So I think being on the podcast, and then even outside the podcast, bro, the things that I had to do to get EPs put together, recording at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, sun coming up. You know, my regular life, on top of that, like I just happened to be freelancing, and I quit my job right before I started the podcast. So, you know, there's a lot going on. I had the sun on the way. So, I mean, it's just a lot of things that factored into being feared. Like I was fearful, bro. Like I was really like, man, this might not work, or people might not like it. But I knew, like, if I didn't do it now, I would never do it. So fear no longer existed once I put it in my head, like this is now or never. So I think it's just a mental thing with fear. It's all in your head, because we just live in a generation, or we live in a world where opinions matter in a sense. You know, like with Instagram, social media, like all that is opinions.
I think we touched on that before too, with the whole social media.
Imagine they had a dislike button. Imagine that. Imagine if you had a like button and a dislike button.
Yo, it's like that show we were watching. What's it called? It was this one show we were watching where it was like every episode was different. And I think there was one episode where it was like social media, and you had the dislike and you had the like, and you had people legit losing their minds over somebody walking past them and not liking them because all they did was walking past them. You know, it was crazy. But yeah, man, and for me, from my perspective, fear, how I look at it is like people only do certain things because they're comfortable, right? And once you get comfortable, fear is always the biggest thing in that.
It's the only thing.
It's the only thing.
It's the only thing.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, because you're afraid to change. You're fearful for any type of things that's gonna take you out of your comfort zone. And I think that's where the biggest thing for me came from. Right? With me starting my show and having Shandi on it and having us collaborate together, this was something that we didn't even think too much about.
Right.
You know. We were afraid when we first started doing it, like, oh my God, like, what's
this is really
gonna
about to
happen?
happen.
Yeah, like,
Might take two.
take two, you know.
It happens.
But I think that when we took ourselves out of our comfort zone, as far as like me running out to Frederick to buy this and buy that, to call you or call somebody else to be on the show and still be able to make all those things happen, we were supposed to start,
Yeah.
and
It's after 9, man. Don't
it's
say
after
that.
9. It's after 9, and that's damn good, right? So, and that's really what that whole fear thing comes from, right? I know Shandi has a little bit to say about that because she's.
That's so funny how you can always read my mind. No, you know what? I was reading this thing the other day and it talked about how we're born with 2 fears, and that's the fear of God, and we're also born scared of heights because we were never created to be, lifted from. We were never created to be off of the ground.
Right.
So these are the 2 like natural fears that we are supposed to have. And one thing that in the article that it was talking about was how every fear that you develop it because every fear that you develop it because of your surroundings. So what nurtures you and what conditions you. So for example, right, if you grew up in an area and you were always picked on, you'd be fearful of meeting new people. Right? If you were at home and you were abused, you would be fearful of meeting somebody and opening up, letting them into your life, right? So it's little fears. So the fears that we have, the fears that we develop over time, it's conditioned. It's the nature versus nurture thing. So a lot of what we're, and a lot of what we fear is based upon things that we've gone through. So when you realize that, okay, you're scared of this, or you're fearful in this area and you don't want to pursue this because you're scared of rejection. Maybe you were rejected when you were younger. So you have to go back into your childhood and figure out where did that root come from. Because the moment that root starts to, grow forth and spring forth, that's when it starts to hinder you, right? You stop growing in a way. You still grow, but you stop growing in a way because now you're growing from rejection. It's like a mutation. A mutation, your cells are still growing, but it's not lined up with, if you guys are familiar, the AGTC, adenine, thymine, whatever. But it starts growing from a mutated angle, and that's not how it should be. One thing that I wanted to ask you though was, a lot of us, right, or so there are some individuals that want to do things because they see other people doing things, right? And so in your subconscious you may think, okay, you want to do it, but you really want to do it because you saw your neighbor doing it. Now, how did you differentiate that doing this podcast and starting your business wasn't because you were influenced, but it was because it was your passion and it was something you wanted to do? How do you differentiate between the two?
Well, for me, speaking is my passion. So one of the things that I wanted to do was put myself on different speaking platforms. Like, I like public speaking. I'm more of an urban speaker than actual like motivational speaker. You know what I'm saying? I'm more urban. I want to relate to the lower class. So I just wanted to put myself on different platforms. So it's from the heart because I love speaking. People listen for some reason. I'll take it. So and then I felt like nobody else was really trying to do this where I'm from. So it was something that it wasn't like everybody was doing it, so let me do it. It was like, no, nobody's doing this, so I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, so I'm one of those people that, I'm a trendsetter. I like to set trends. I don't like to follow them. That's just me. I'm just like an old soul, follow my own path and really don't care what everybody else is doing type of person. So that's how I knew the difference.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
What would you tell the individual that is trying to follow everybody else's dream? What's something, because sometimes we're scared of coming up or doing what we want to do, that if for example, right, Chunga, if I see you tying shoelaces and I'm like, yo, you can tie shoelaces really, really well, I want to tie shoelaces too, but I was never called to tie shoelaces, but I still pursue it. How do you, what would be your piece of advice that you would give that individual so that they don't follow another person and actually do what they were created to do?
I first things first. If you wouldn't do that thing, and without getting paid and still want to do it, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
So just make sure like it's something you really love to do.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I also call that like share. I used to say this before, like a long time ago, and I call it shared dreaming, right?
Yeah, man,
and
we all do
it's
it.
something where like I have a dream that I'm passionate about, and I have a friend that is also passionate about something, you know. But because I'm such a big, you know, the way I speak relates more to them, and they feel like they want to be able to follow what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But they're not pursuing their dreams. They're sharing my dream. Right? And that's where that whole factor thing comes in, where somebody is trying to follow you or do something that you're doing, thinking that that's what they like, but really they're just kind of sharing your dream. You see what I'm saying? So it's really crazy. I used to say this when I was really young.
Wow, perspective. That's crazy.
Can I add in to that?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I was on another podcast, and one of the things I pointed out on accident was that not even on accident, it just naturally happened. But if you're not willing to die for what you're doing, you're probably doing the wrong thing. And I feel like I know for a fact what I do, I'm willing to die for it. And that's when I knew the difference. And then that's my advice for everyone else. Make sure if you're not willing to die for it, you're not doing what you love.
You don't want it enough.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel about it.
You don't want
I
it
just
enough.
had to think about my life real quick.
You're not willing, like, you know, like for instance, like someone like Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah,
He
that's
lived for
fact.
what he died for. It's simple.
Yeah, that's
And
fact.
everything that he did was what he would have died for. And that's a life to me. That's how I feel like everyone should have an opportunity to live that way.
Yeah, and now tons and tons of people get a chance to, you know, live through him. You know what I'm saying?
And actually see it.
And see what he
a lot
was
of people
talking
don't
about.
see it,
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah.
they're not gonna believe. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like. It's just ideas and theories behind it because you don't really see it all the time.
You don't see it.
You see
I
it
mean,
once a decade. You know?
After he passed away, there were so many clips that came out of how he was so intelligent, how he learned on himself,
right.
and from a young age, and just letting us know how to invest in ourselves and invest for our futures and our families, versus, you know what I'm saying, buying big chains and buying nice cars and, you know, all that stuff.
Buying things that depreciate.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? All that. You know, you don't go to the grave with anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so
The only thing you go to the grave with is just how you be remembered.
right.
You know, your legacy.
Right.
That's pretty much how do you leave the earth.
Yeah.
You know.
And that ties back into fear, man. My dad told me this one time. He was like, there's so many dreams. You know, the most amount of dreams that we have is in the graveyard. Because imagine how many people died with
Yeah.
all their dreams.
with
still.
all
Yeah.
these dreams that they had to share with the world,
And they never
and
manifested.
they never manifested it.
Or at least attempted to.
Fear.
Yeah.
A lot of them were afraid to do
The
what
difference
they
between life
were.
and death, man.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Right.
Fear is very,
Makes it dying.
it's very important.
It's very, very important, man.
Be afraid, but be afraid to do it, and not be afraid not to do it.
Right.
Do it afraid.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you're scared, do it afraid.
Do it.
If you're nervous,
turn
do
the
it
fear
nervous.
into excitement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think so many times, you know, we get so stuck. We're just like, I can't do this. I'm scared. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I don't want to move forward. But yeah, you're gonna be scared. That's normal. But you know, you weren't born with that type of fear. You have power, love, and a sound mind.
Right.
So you need to utilize what was actually put on the inside of you when you were created and run with that.
Right.
And so, you know, that can really.
I also feel like a lot of people forget that we were born as blank canvases, right? When you're a blank canvas and you are an artist of your own life, you choose to paint whatever you can put on that, right? So I feel like some people grow up and they get programmed where they put limitations on themselves because they're so afraid to see that their potential could possibly reach whatever limits they choose to, you know.
But you know what makes sense with that, because I really like that comment about, you know, being a blank canvas and you paint it. Sometimes again, even relating back to when you were younger and the things that had traumatized you, sometimes you feel as though somebody took that paintbrush from you and painted your life for you.
Right.
And so what happens is, in the midst of that, you have to, you gotta break that.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta break that. And in order for you to break that, you gotta take that paintbrush back. But you have to acknowledge those small steps, like what makes you fear. And it's okay. Like, go home, like whatever you're doing, if you're watching this, like at the end of this video, like seriously sit there and think about what you're scared of. Think about the things that you're fearful of, whether it's, you know, it pertains to your family, your education, your career, your passion, whatever it may be, right? Write it down, figure it out, right? You don't have to figure it out, but write it down and meditate on that and figure out, you know, where do you think that root comes from? Because again, if you don't touch that root or figure out why you're so fearful of rejection or, you know, being deceived, then it's just gonna be a cycle.
Exactly, man, exactly. And I truly believe that my passion, I truly believe that I found my purpose, you know, in doing this. And I say it all the time, it sounds like a cliche, and everybody that I speak to, doesn't matter how old they are, I tell them, my purpose is to help as many people as I possibly can. You know what I'm saying? I found my passion, I found what I'm happy, and I've been doing it for so long. I just never really put
you never realized you were doing it, but you've been doing it.
You know?
Yeah, it just wasn't like a.
It took her honestly to come in and be like, "Yo, bro, you don't have to do everything for everyone." You know? So I was like, "How can I touch more people?" You know,
more effective.
Same with him. He was my I remember when I started working there. Gave me a whole thing. I was like, I need a therapist. He was like, come on. And then we started going to the little bench press, and he became my therapist in a way. But in that moment, he realized, like, you know, I like saw that, and I knew you had seen that before. But like when you speak, there's so much life that comes out of you, and it's like if you're able to, like that video you showed me, if you're able to, you know, allow so much negativity into your life, and you
still able to emit so much
positive energy, then you're truly a gem. Like there's something that's so different from you, because you can be going through hell and hot water and you can choose to just be like, I don't care about you. But if you're going through hell and hot water and you're like, let me help you,
reach out.
There's something like you're I don't even have words to that.
There's definitely moments. And I was watching the podcast. I was watching this motivational speaker speak, and she touched me so bad, man. You know, and that's where I got that from, just because she said there were certain things, certain moments in your life that happens that changes your DNA. You know, and DNA not as far as blood, but as far as every cell and everything that you put your mind to changes from a certain moment, from a certain event that happened in your life. You know what I'm saying? You being able to empower people. Every time I see you, it just makes me want to go even crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It makes me, you know, it makes me want to like, yo, bro, we gotta do this, bro. We gotta do this. Just let me know. Just let me know. You know, I hit him up in a 2-day span, like, yo, bro, I need you to do this, and he's like, I'll be there. You know, and it's just it manifests in so.
I've been waiting, bro.
Yeah,
I've been waiting. This is. I knew it would come, so it was just like, it was a no-brainer, bro. And like I said, when I met you, and it's funny that she's just giving you this description, because like when I met you, it was like I met you right when I was in the midst of starting everything. And like even with the DB Vision, just my lifestyle changed, and you seen me in my beginning, I seen your beginning. You telling me all these things like, yeah, I'm gonna get a shirt.
Yeah.
Now you got a plaque on the wall.
Right.
Like, yo, I'm a trainer. Now you work at LA Fitness. You know what I'm saying? Even times I used to see you. You know, we'd be in the same studio working out. You know what I'm saying? In the barbershop, and then like seeing you.
Everything just kept manifesting in this moment.
And it was just like I met him in the beginning of my process, and it was just like the more I was doing it, the more I was seeing him. Yeah. The more I was like, oh yeah, Kendall. Oh, I know Kendall. Like we getting plugged in. We trying to start the clothing line. We both were on the same we were in the same avenue. So it was just like.
It was meant to happen.
I mean, that was the type of experience I got with him, knowing him as this great person. Crazy. So I feel what you're saying. So it's just like, and you know him longer than me, so it's just. Wow, it's a great thing to have somebody say about you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Like we said, if we can help one person,
that's it.
That's the purpose. That's it. You know, and I want to, you know, thank you again for coming on. I want to thank a lot of people. I give you opportunity to shout out anybody that you want to. I know you have this great movement that you're doing right now with Ink Master.
So my boy Corey Richardson, he has this brand called Ink Slaves. He's from Montgomery Village. He has a store up in Martinsburg, West Virginia. It's called Ink Slaves. Me and him are doing a back to school cookout from Montgomery Village. We're giving out 100 backpacks.
Awesome.
You know, from 2 to whenever, come to Stewartown Park with my boy Dadrian Sims. He's catering it. His brand, his little cooking brand is called Cajun Kitchen. He cooks a lot of Louisiana food, but it's gonna be a vibe. We got DJs, where we got school supplies, a lot of fun coming out. So make sure you pop out, man. It'd be something worth coming to.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
We definitely gotta show up. We're gonna put all the information
at the bottom. Yeah.
At the bottom.
Yeah. We definitely. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. That's what we're here for.
First and many, bro.
Yeah,
First and many.
yeah.
So.
It's and listen, it just has to keep going this way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now that we're here, we can't stop. And it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Doing stuff like this, bro. And I just want to say this before we go.
Yeah.
It's more so where we're giving exposure, but we're holding each other accountable.
Right.
Because now we're putting a camera in front of us saying, all right, is this who you really are?
Right.
Is this what you want to do? So when you're going to be doing it 6 months.
Right.
So now it just keeps you motivated and we're holding each other accountable. Like, hey,
Seriously.
now you put it on camera, so now people see you.
Yeah.
So
and that's one thing, because when you start things, I think a lot of us struggle with consistency. You can be great at doing something, you can be good at working out, you can be good at cooking, but if you're not consistent every day, then you lose faith in yourself in a way.
Yeah.
Consistency is the word of the week.
Nah, seriously. So, that accountability factor is a big thing too, because it's like you have to stay consistent when you're being held accountable.
Yeah.
You gotta stay consistent and get results. So.
Yeah.
It shows in the end.
For sure, man.
But it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man.
I really
Thank you
appreciate
again.
you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
And nice meeting you again.
Yeah. Kind of let them know.
Strong grip.
Let them know where they can find you again, how to get on your podcast.
Okay, so
I know you have them streaming in a whole bunch of different platforms, so kind of give them. Okay,
so you can find my podcast. It's called Respect the Game. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. My Instagram DB_got_the_vision, and then my Facebook is just Daryl Brown. It's not too hard to find me.
Right.
So
and we'll put all of that information right in the bio.
And
so
you know where you can always find us. You know who I am. It's BODFIT_FIT.
C_10 pennies.
10 pennies always
makes a dime.
There you go. Damn, that's good.
Love you guys. We'll be back next time.
All right, man. Alright, man. That was tough.
I appreciate it, man.
Subscribe, man. You guys gotta like and subscribe these videos. Please.
I like my Millie Rock. Oh,
like and subscribe these videos.
Is this the bloopers?
These are the bloopers, bro. Like, subscribe, share.
Oh, check out our shirts, guys.
Hey,
it's official.
Right, after 9, right?
After 9.
That's crazy.
Stay tuned. We got some more coming.